Steve King is a congressman, acts more like a court jester oftentimes. Latest thing he's mad about is the $20 bill getting a portrait of Harriet Tubman on it. They're going to move Andrew Jackson to the back. They're going to have Harriet Tubman in the front. And they're not even taking Andrew Jackson off entirely. But there's a black person and a female on a dollar bill. That is unacceptable. Steve King knows and loves the world as it was, where there were only white males everywhere and on every bill and on every coin. So he bothered to protest this, and he introduced legislation to try to repeal it. He didn't win, but in the midst of that, he said, look, it's not about Harriet Tubman. It's about keeping the picture on the $20 bill. You know? Why would you want to change that? I'm a conservative. I like to keep what we have. Well, that's true, because what we had was a system where guys like you were the only ones in charge, and you got to decide everything. So, unsurprisingly, a bunch of white males got together and decided the only people who should be on the bills are white males. He's like, why are we changing that? We had it. We had it all figured out. We were in charge. Now, all of a sudden, we got to hear out black people and women. We got to hear them out as if they've done something in this country, as if they're 50% of the country. Huh. I like the way things were. Steve, why don't you make it a little bit more obvious? Okay. And he says, here's what's really happening. This is liberal activism on the part of the president that's trying to identify people by categories, and he's divided us on the lines of groups. This is a divisive proposal on the part of the president, and mine's unifying. It says just don't change anything. He went on to say that it was, quote, racist and sexist to put a woman and a black person on U.S. currency. So Steve King's version of racism is, if everyone is not a white male, then you're being racist against white males. I mean, we had 100% of the country. In the beginning, blacks didn't have anything. Women didn't have any voting rights. They didn't have any rights. We had everything. Why don't we just keep that? If you try to change me having everything and you having nothing, well, then you're racist against white males. I rest my case. And the funny thing is, he walks off the floor of the House and thinks, nailed it, proved they were racist and sexist. Got him. One final quote from the brilliant Steve King. President Obama's on his way out the door. He's going to do everything he can to think of to upset this society and this civilization. This civilization. You know, good civilized white folks, Western civilization. You know Obama's not part of that. You know why he's not part of that, right? I think you know.